Good morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. New project time for me. I am doing a 330 diesel swap into my E36 compact. I am fitting an M57 D30 from an E46 Touring, the one that I've had parked up in the yard for a couple of years. It's a 184 brake horsepower engine and a 5-speed manual, so I'm basically just transferring all of that from the E46 straight into my E36 compact. I have filmed all of this already. I've been doing it over the last 4 to 6 weeks, just on weekends and evenings in my free time. So I thought I'd film it all and then edit it together and do a bit of a how-to guide for you. It is booked in for MOT as well next week, so the car will be on the road in the next week or so, and it's booked in for drift day as well at the new Learn to Drift drift day in Pontypool, which is meant to be on the 17th, but I think the date has changed now, so that just gives me a little bit more time to finish off the last few bits on the car, hydro and stuff like that. But yeah, so as I said, it's already been done. I finished it all. I just need to edit it together. I'm not sure how long the video is going to be. I put it all in one episode, so all the information is compiled in one place. Also, if you are watching, just watch to the end, or at least skip to the end and have a look at a recap. There's a few things in the video that I would probably do differently if I was to do it again, and I'll advise that at the end once I go through the recap for you. So yeah, so as I said, it is all done, complete, up and running. So enjoy the video. Also, I'd like to thank somebody for helping me out with this, James Young. The reason I'm doing this is I came across his video on YouTube. So James Young Drifting, he's done a couple of guides on the 184 brake horsepower and the 204 brake horsepower M57 into an E36. I'll drop his channel link in the description, maybe put his videos up here somewhere for you to have a look at. Give him a like and a subscribe. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps you out, and enjoy. So this is currently an M57 3-litre diesel manual in my 330 diesel Touring. If you would have watched previous episodes, maybe a year or two ago, you would have seen I was going to put this back on the road. It's the one that caught fire. But yeah, plan is now put it in my E36 compact, the one that currently has the stroker fitted in it. I need to put some piston rings in the stroker, so I'll get the engine out of that. Fit this engine in it instead. So I'm going to do a bit of a how-to guide. I'll probably do it all in one episode if possible, maybe two. But yeah, so first things first, I need to get everything out of this, what is going to be needed to transfer into the compact. Okay, so everything is currently unbolted off this M57. Gearbox is hanging down, power steering lines disconnected, fuel lines disconnected, just undone the engine mounts. So now it's time to lift it out. We haven't lifted a 330 diesel out of an E46 in a very long time, so I'm not sure if I should take the DPF off or not. I don't normally remove the inlet manifold, but it wasn't bolted on anyway, it was just sitting on it, so I thought it'd be easier. It gives me just a bit more leverage to pull the engine over and maybe get the DPF past the steering column if needed. If not, I'll take it off. But yeah, so time to pull this out. One M57 removed. I didn't need to take the DPF off. However, if I was taking it out of a normal car, I would take it off because you have to rag the engine to get it out. This car's going for scrap, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, so that's first part of this project. Time to give this engine a clean and a tidy. Give it a quick inspection, change any gaskets, any seals, and yes, next will be get the compact in and remove engine from that. Oh, first of all, I need to take all the fuel lines off this because I need the fuel lines off the M57, so I'll do that next. Okay, so the only thing I need now is these 330 diesel lines. I'll use all the lines, all the 330 diesel system, all the way up. It just makes everything simpler because there's two returns that run back here. Only one feed, so yeah, I'll remove all this, then the car doesn't have to go back in the air again. Yeah, okay, so I didn't mention the prop shaft or the exhaust, so yeah, I'll use some of this exhaust, I think. Maybe remove the back box and the silencer. I'll have a look, but I'll keep it for now. And the front half of the prop, I don't need the rear half. but I'll have to cut and weld this one to make it fit, so I'll sort that one out. And then the fuel lines, as I said, all the fuel lines from under the car. So yeah, so that's basically everything stripped that I need access to. Just need a couple of bits of wiring and stuff which I can pull out of the car. The throttle pedal as well, that's already unbolted. So yeah, there's just a few more bits, but I can access them without being on the ramp. So at least it's completely stripped for now. So next on the list is start getting the compact stripped down. Okay, so next on the list, compact is in on the ramp. I just need to take out the M50D30 stroker. I'll get that on an engine stand, and then I can look at getting the M57 fitted. So let's get the engine removed first of all. So that's it, M50D30 stroker is out of the compact and it's ready to fit the M57. I'll give the engine bay a bit of a tidy up, stinking dirty. But yeah, so that was easy enough to take out, didn't take long. Nowhere near as long as taking out the M57 out of the E36. And there's the M50D30 stroker. So the plan for this one, stick it on an engine stand, strip it down, and have a look at what was wrong with the compression, and change the rings if needed. Potentially completely strip it down and send the block off to be checked as well. But yeah, that's a future project. At the moment we'll concentrate on the M57. The engine bay, just a quick wipe down to get rid of all the shit that was on it, all the acorns and squirrel fur. So it's just a bit tidier. So the M57 now, I need to remove the DPF and remove this aircon pump because I don't need either of them. I've got DPF delete pipe to go on that, so I need to remove both of them before I put it in. And I need to do some vacuum lines as well. I've got all these vacuum lines as well to do. Should be easy enough to do them once it's in the car. Main concern is the DPF delete pipe and taking off that aircon pump at the moment. One DPF off. This was 130 on eBay, but like it was a discount code, so I got it for like 100 quid. Which wasn't too bad, it was the cheapest one. Okay, she's ready to fit now at the moment. I'd done the vacuum lines over on this side because it was just going to be easier to do them now than try to struggle to do them in the car. So I did buy a roll of vacuum line, I think 4 meters of blue vacuum line for like about 15 quid off eBay. DPF delete is on, I'm pretty sure that's in the right position. Aircon pump is off. Yeah, so gonna see if I can fit it in on the mounts now and get it mounted. Okay, so I've removed the E36 engine mounts from here and from over here. You need to use 330 diesel ones, I'll show you them in a moment. So these are the mounts you need. These are 330 diesel mounts. I was hoping to get away with using standard E46 mounts because they're a lot cheaper. But James Young, the guy who's I'm watching do this conversion, he advised me to get 330 diesel ones to stop the car from vibrating. So I got these 80 quid for a set on eBay. You need to remove the vacuum port, so you need to cut this silver bit off. That's just the yeah, so you need to remove this, you need to just grind that down flat, and then when you put it into the car it needs to be that line that I've marked, so in line with the vacuum port, needs to be facing backwards. So I'm going to just get this ground off and I'll get these mounts in. Okay, so this is the hole we want, so standard E36 mounting point, but then that line facing to the back of the car, because depending on where you put it there'll be a difference. So that line was at the front, the engine will be in a different place, so this yellow line that I've marked facing to the back, and that's the same on both sides. So I'm just going to get both of them on. I'll get some bolts on the bottom and get them, put the bolts on, and I'll just tighten them up hand tight just for now. Right, so I've installed the engine mounts. You can see the line facing towards the back of the car. Try to keep the vacuum port where I've cut it off in line with the bolt hole. Same on this side, so I'm hoping that's right. I have tightened them up so they don't move when I put the engine in. If they're not in the right position, I can adjust them later anyway. So that's one M57 in the engine bay. Went in pretty easy as well. Didn't really need to move it around too much. But it's sitting on the mounts. I need to make a gearbox mount next. Probably won't have time today, so I'll see if I can stick the standard mount on it just to hold the gearbox up. Because on Monday this will need to go back outside for customer work, so can't stay in here all week unfortunately. Right. So currently I have the gearbox mounted. I thought I had to make a custom mount, and maybe I'm confusing it with a 204 brake horsepower. James does two videos, one with a 184, which is this one, 5-speed, and he does then a 6-speed one with a 204 brake horsepower engine, and he definitely makes a custom mount for that one because I watched that recently. The 184 one, I'll have to re-watch it and I'll show what he done about a mount, but I'm pretty sure this is a E36 automatic gearbox mount. It was in the scrap pile from a automatic conversion we done a few weeks ago. I tried the standard E36 mount and that wouldn't fit, and I tried this one and it did fit, so I'm pretty sure that's what it is, unless it's an E46 mount. I don't think it's an E46 because I'm pretty sure they don't fit. I'll check the part number, but yeah, hopefully the engine is sitting in the right place. I'll have to put the front on and make sure I've got room for a fan and everything. And then I'm not sure on these mounts whether I've put them the right way or not. I might need to turn them around the other way. I'll have to rewatch James's video again. DPF is on. DPF delete is on, so I just need to make an exhaust now and continue that the rest of the way. And then prop shaft. So this will be the next part, I think, is to make a custom prop shaft for this. It'll just be a matter of chopping the front off, the 330 diesel one, and using the rear of the E36 and welding them together. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, I think, for today. So here we have it, M57 3-litre diesel, 184 brake horsepower in my E36 compact. Looks factory, the way it mounts, sits nice. Manifold is just sitting on there at the moment. I can just pop that back off to do all the vacuum lines underneath, a fuel lines, stuff like that. Still quite a bit to do. I'm just doing a few hours on each Saturday morning on it. Stuff I need to renew as well before putting the front end on. I'm going to stick a Melly water pump in there and a Melly thermostat. That water pump is only a couple of years old, but I'm pretty sure it was only a cheap one. So while the front end is off and I've got easy access to it, because it can be a pain in the arse, I'll take all that off and swap it with a Melly one, a new belt. Yeah, so pretty straightforward so far. I'll probably keep the battery in the engine bay, maybe. I'll decide that when I wire it up. I might wire it up next week. Got to do a prop shaft for it, so I'll probably do the prop shaft first and then wire it up, so at least I can move it. I also need a chassis mounted short shifter for it as well. Intercooler and some intercooler pipe work. So yeah, hopefully have it done by the end of March. That's the plan. We'll have the engine in running and moving on its own steam anyway. So yeah, I'll come back to you when I'm back on it. Okay, so these are the current fuel lines, which is obviously petrol fuel filter, and then the normal feed, and then the return. So I need to remove them fuel lines from the back of the tank. From here, just remember which one's your feed and which one's your return. And then on the ground then, I've got all the E46 lines. So this is the full set of lines off the E46 from the front to the back. The video I'm watching that James Young does, he uses all the lines. I'll put a link to his video as well, because he'll probably go into a lot more detail. But yeah, so using all of this from the E46. So I'll take the E36 stuff off, and I'll get the E46 stuff fitted
ready. Right, so that's pretty straightforward. Fuel lines are on. As you can see, it's kind of got a kind of double return system. This one here, this blue one, is a return, and that's like a return as well by the look of it, or some sort of return anyway. I just bolted this to the original mounting point. This little fuel pump has got a mount on it, and it's just onto the normal stud. Could probably tidy it up a little bit better. It's not too bad along the back here. All clips in on the back is normal. Then up here, then it's got a few bends in it. Still, the feed runs through all of these clamps, no problem. The return then just sits up there. You probably bend it into this if needed. They're only aluminium, so it's easy enough to bend. And then just up there to the front of the car. I have to plug them in. There's like a diesel heater, and obviously onto the diesel pump and stuff. There's a plug on the engine room that plugs into this, so I'll plug that in as well. Right, so now I've got a mess of fuel lines up here. As I said, there's a diesel heater on the E36. I'll go take that off. I have to mount that here somewhere. And then some of these lines have to connect to that. I'll have to bend them and route them in a correct place because that's a mess. So I need to sort that out. Might just connect it all up just to get it running first and then tidy it up after. I'll have a look now. I could really do with getting a new manifold because this all burnt when it went on fire. It's not split or anything, but it doesn't look very nice. But it doesn't matter. I'll get that sorted. Right, so this is off the E46. This is the fuel cooler and the fuel filter. Still got fuel in it. So I need to mount this. I need to mount this somewhere around here. I need to be careful of the back of my headlight and where I put my expansion bottle for the rad. Yeah, so I'll work out somewhere to mount this first. As I said, I might just mount it temporary just so I can get it going. It's a pain having to push it in and out of the unit, especially with a welded diff, and it's uphill. So there's a spider on it down there somewhere. Yeah, so yeah, still plenty of diesel left in that. Put some else. Yeah, so I'll get that mounted and get the fuel lines connected up, and then I'll get the wiring sorted, I think. Right, I also need to look at this as well. This is the prop shaft. This is the 330 diesel one, and then this is the standard E36. The plan is cut the diesel one around here, I think, and cut the E36 one around here, and push them into each other with a sleeve of 1mm sheet metal around it, and then weld it up. That's what James Young has done, and he says it works on his 1JZ, and that's big brake horsepower, and he's done it on a few of his 330 diesels, no issues. So it's my own car. I'll give it a shot, see if it works. If it doesn't, I can always get one made. But I have these here, so I'll cut them and weld them together as well. So that's the plan with the two of them. Right, so there we go. Prop. I've cut both of them. I've slid the E36 one into the E46 330. It's a pretty good fit, but there is a bit of slight play in it. So, as I said, when I watched James Young do his, he's put some 1mm metal in there. I don't think I got 1mm steel in. I'll have a look to see what I can get in. But yeah, just to take up that bit of slot before welding it. But yeah, I'll get that in there, mark it up, and then I'll weld it up. Right, so here we have it, the 330 diesel E36 prop. Front section of the 5-speed 330 diesel and the rear section of the front half of the E36. Put a 1mm plate, well 1mm piece of sheet steel in there. I just measured the diameter of the pipe, and then slid it up, and then slid this one into it, and it is solid as a rock already before it's even been welded. As James says, the further you push this up here, the more true it will be, and I've got this part of the prop right up to here, so I'll weld it now and be able to get it fitted. That's another thing off the list. Okay, so prop shaft is done, painted. Stick it on the car now, bolt it up into place. Right, so there we have it. Prop is all bolted to the box, onto the centre bearing, and then onto the diff. So that's another job off the list. Potentially might get another centre bearing because that's a bit shit, and a prop shaft donut as well. I'm just getting everything lined up for now. While I'm under there, I'll have a quick look at the slave cylinder. I'm not sure if I'm using the E36 or the E46 one. E36 if I can, so I don't have to bleed it. I'll have a quick look at the length of the rods and see which one to use. E46, E36. E46 is slightly longer. Yeah, so slightly longer on the E46 one. So I'll use the E46 in the E36 housing. Okay, so slave cylinder is in. As I said, that's the E36 cylinder and the E36 pipe. I did have to drop the gearbox and the prop back down again because there was no way I was getting that slave cylinder in onto that box without dropping it down. This where the pipe is bent was getting in the way. Yeah, just so make sure you put the slave cylinder in before you bolt everything up. So currently everything underneath is pretty much done. All the fuel lines, gearbox, slave cylinder, prop shaft is done and mounted. Downpipe is ready, so I need to make an exhaust and do that last. Whether I modify the standard one or not, I'm not sure. Just got to get rid of these vacuum lines. They were for the mounts. Power steering lines. These are the standard E46 power steering lines. Pretty sure they just connect up as normal. Grab some banjo bolts. I'll get them connected. And then I need a chassis mount short shifter before I can do anything else underneath really. But at least that's the prop and everything done. So it does mean I can put it into gear and start it and move it once I get a wiring loom made. I'll get the power steering lines connected up first, and then I'll get back on the top then and have a look at these fuel lines and the fuel filter and the fuel cooler. I just need to find a couple of banjo bolts. Both of them look fine, I just need a banjo for the smaller one. So there we go. E46 330 diesel pipes. Bolted, straight on, no modification. Even able to mount it to the steering rack. I've got the cooler part up here, so I'll mount that up behind the rad, up along the top. So I said I haven't needed to cut anything, nothing like that, just basically everything from the 330 diesel has bolted straight on. So I'll drop it down now and let's have a look at the fuel lines. Okay, so this fuel filter and fuel cooler, I'm going to separate it. I'll probably have to mount them in two different places. There's not enough room at the front for this, and when I'm going to put an expansion tank there as well. So I'll separate the fuel filter and I'll mount them in two different locations. I just might have to modify some fuel lines maybe. I'll get that separated and have a look at where I'm going to mount it. Okay, so I've separated them out, so I've made them both a lot smaller. So this is the fuel cooler, so I have to mount this somewhere close to the engine, close to the fuel lines. And then we got the diesel filter, and we're taking the bracket off. This is the bracket,
So I should be able to modify this now, so I can bolt it to the side of the turret. There's a bracket down here. So I'll modify this, I'll be able to bolt that to that. And then the filter will be able to bolt back into this as normal. So I've cut down the fuel filter bracket. And I was going to put it down there, if you can see. It's a bit hard to see. Not sure if it's maybe too close to the engine, it'd be in the way. Might put it up here maybe, or even here, riv nut to the side of that. Not sure, I'll have a look now in a minute, decide where I'm going to put it. Gotta get this coolant connector pipe on. I'll get that on. I'll give all this a bit of a tidy up around the manifold, and I need to get these fuel lines sorted and the fuel cooler mounted somewhere. Right, so that's where I'll mount the fuel filter. The bracket on the side of the suspension turret, I think where the carbon canister usually goes. They've already got inserts in them for threads. So as I said, I just cut the standard diesel filter bracket down and then just mounted it on there, nice and solid. Just mocking everything up first. I'll give that a coat of paint once I've decided where the cooler and that is going as well. I might need to make brackets for that. This looks like going to be one of the more difficult parts to get tidy. I might have to cut some of these down a bit maybe. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of fuel lines in the way. This one, this is the feed from the pump, feed to the main high pressure pump, I think. It's quite long and it's plastic, I can't really do much about that. Just fit there, I can probably push it out of the way a bit better. But all these ones now, some of them need to go to the cooler, something needs to go to here. I have to check on my videos to see where I put everything. Right, so I've just routed all the fuel lines where they're meant to go, the feeds and the returns and stuff. I haven't mounted any of this as of yet, the fuel cooler. The reason being is because I'm going to have obviously a headlight here, an expansion bottle. I need to bring the intercooler pipework up here as well somewhere, and I have coolant line coming across here to the expansion tank. So I'll probably get all of that fitted, and then I'll probably mount this once I've done that. But at the moment I'm just getting it all plumbed in so I can get it up and running once I make a wiring loom. So yeah, so at the moment everything on the coolant system, on the fuel system should be plumbed in. Just got a few more bits to do engine wise. Coolant pipe over here, the hard plastic one. Put the inlet manifold back on, and then I'll finish off doing the wiring on it. So I've just put on this plastic water connector. I've used a Melly one. They're not that expensive, 15-16 quid I think. We change loads of these on all the newer diesel engines as well, they're prone to cracking. So if you are under the manifold, change it while you're under here. Mine was already broke, so I had this new one for ages, just sitting on the shelf. So that's changed. I'm going to stick the inlet manifold back on just for now, and just sit it back onto the engine itself. And I'm going to get on with finishing off the wiring loom. I'm just going to make an adapter so it can be unplugged and plugged in if needed. Yeah, so I'm just going to get the inlet manifold back on for now, and I'm going to get on with wiring it up. I still need to get a TDS rad, TDS expansion tank, intercooler, pipework, stuff like that. So I'll leave the rest of the front of it now until I've got them bits. I can get on with wiring it. Once I've wired it up and put some diesel in the tank, it's ready to start. So. Right, so I'll just show you the wiring loom adapter I've made. As I said, I'm following another video on this. I'll put the link in my description to the wiring diagrams and stuff. James Young, he shows you in detail how to wire it up. But yeah, I've just made an adapter loom, so if you are making your own loom, the couple of the plugs you'll need. So this is the pedal plug, that plugs into your throttle pedal. the colours on that match the colours on your ECU plug. So then you need ECU plug. This will be on the E46 on the car side of the loom, so you just cut that off. This is another plug you'll need. This is the only other plug you need off the E46. Oh, you need an OBD port, but yeah, this is the only plug you need off the engine loom side. It's a 2-pin plug, starter, and then like oil pressure, I think, or alternator. The X20 off your E36 loom, and then a relay, a 5-pin relay if possible. I just added this one in now to run the inline pump underneath the car. So yeah, so that's how I've made mine. So I can just take it on and off. I'm just going to tidy this up now, finish it off, and connect this up to the inline pump. I need to run OBD, so I've left a K-line wire out. I'll run this into the car because I've already got an OBD plug inside the car that I've wired in previously, so I just need to run this to it instead so it reads the ECU. These two wires here, these are coolant wires. These are coolant ECU wires. These need to go to a temperature sensor on the side of the head. I'll show you that. And can't remember what they are. I think that's one of them is K-line as well. I don't know why it's there, but yeah, I don't think I need them ones. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely need these, the two coolant ones. So yeah, so I'm just gonna get this onto the inline pump. I'll tidy up all the loom and start tidying up the engine bit. So this is where I left it last week. Plumbed in all the fuel lines. So all the fuel system should be good to go once I put some diesel in it. I'll just get the wire and the loom on it now and get some jump leads on it and see if she swings over, and then I'll get some fuel probably in the morning, fill the tank, and hopefully it will fire up. I've got a little bit of welding to do on it as well, so I'll do that because I'm waiting for parts. I'm waiting for an intercooler, some pipe work, stuff like that, radiator, expansion tank. I need to still get them, so yeah, let's get the wire loom on anyway and see where that goes. Right, so I'm going to use a 4-cylinder battery cable and just connect it to the starter. Run the battery in the front. That's where the battery was anyway, so I'll keep it here for now. I might relocate it and make it look a bit tidier later on, but it looks alright here, so I'll put this battery cable in, have power then, connect up the rest of the loom and see if it swings over. Right, so I've connected everything up. I just haven't connected up the fuel pump relay. Fuse is already out anyway. Just connected up some jump leads onto the power points, onto the earth, and onto the starter and the fuse box. Everything that's connected up, I'm just going to make sure it swings over from the key, and then I'll get some diesel, put some diesel in it, and hopefully she'll start. So yeah, first of all, see if it swings over. So as you can see, it swings over off the key, so that's a bonus. Next I'll get some diesel in the morning and see if it starts, then I can get on with the rest of it, radiator, expansion tank, get the cooling system plumbed in, get the intercooler on, and get all the pipe work for that sorted. Yeah, so next on the list, get some diesel. Okay, so I stuck some diesel in it. I'm going to try start it for the first time, see if it'll start. I might need to crack an injector off in case there's air in the system, especially all the fuel lines have been emptied of all the fuel. Try start it first of all, see if it'll start. If it won't, to crack off an injector and see if it'll start then. We've got fuel anyway, so fingers crossed. Fires up. So as you can see, it's up and running. It took a lot longer than I expected. I wasn't filming anything, but for the last couple of hours I've been messing around with the fuel pipes. I wasn't getting any fuel up to the rail. I thought I'd mixed up the fuel system. I thought I'd got the return and the feed mixed up. Turns out that was all fine, so I had that all off for no reason. Put it all back on the way it was taken off. And it turns out the inline pump underneath the car, so the E46 inline fuel pump, I wasn't getting 12 volts to it, so I think I've missed the 12 volt feed from the fuel pump relay to that inline pump.
The pump in the tank, the E36 pump, that's all working and everything, so the relay side of things on that side is all working, so I just need to sort out the inline one under the car. But it runs when I put 12 volts directly to it, so it's fine, everything runs and works. It's quite noisy at the moment because there's no blanking plate on the exhaust manifold. Also there's no boost pipes and the inlet manifold isn't fully bolted down. So I get them ordered during the week, get the intercooler, I need a blanking plate. I probably should make a blanking plate for the exhaust. Yeah, intercooler and pipe work, TDS rad and expansion tank, so that's next on the list. I'll be able to get all the cooling system plumbed in, get all the wiring and everything tidied up. So hopefully in the next week or so I'll be able to drive it. Right, so I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit, finish off the wiring. I need to run the K-line wire from the ECU into the car, into the OBD port, so I can read the diagnostics on the ECU when I need to. I also need to sort out a temperature sensor. These are like the M54s, they're on a 2-pin temperature sensor. So I need to put a 4-pin temperature sensor in off like an M52 and then run 2 wires to the X20 so the clocks will read the temperature as well as the ECU. So yeah, just got a few bits and pieces to tidy up on that side of things. This manifold is just sitting on there at the moment anyway, so I can just take it off to do the temp sensor and the wiring on that side. I need to run the pedal wiring into the car as well, and well, get the bracket out with the E36 to mount the pedal, because I can drive it now. Right, so I've already put in the 2.8 for the M52, the 4-pin temp sensor. They come on M44s and stuff like that as well, I think. You can see it there, the round type plug. This is the standard one that is in it, so it's just a 2-pin one. So just take that one out, put a 4-pin one in. This is the plug then, that would have been in the 2-pin one. So you need to cut that one off, and then we'll wire it up to the temperature sensor plug then. Wire these wires to the temperature sensor, and then the other 2 wires on the X20 will go to the temperature sensor wiring, so I need to get some wiring for that as well on the plug. Okay, so I'll just show you where I am. I don't think I've gone through the wiring on the temperature sensor, so I'll just show you what I've done. As I said, the wiring and stuff, if you look at James Young's video, which I'll drop a link for, he has all the wiring diagrams in the description and everything like this, so he also explains this temperature sensor and has a wiring diagram for it. So I'll just quickly give you a quick overview of what needs doing. So we'll basically have a plug on these 2 wires. So this plug would normally be on these 2 wires here, coming out of a little wiring loom box. You've got grey and blue and green and brown, and then this then will be to a 2-pin temperature sensor on the side of the head. We change it for a 4-pin round temperature sensor that you find in like a 328. I think the 4-cylinder M44s, and I've got them as well, but yeah, but definitely 328 these come out of. And then if you use a little bit of the wiring and tails off the 328 as well, you'll have the 4 wires coming out of it. So 2 of them, pin 3 and pin 4 on the 328 sensor plug will go to the old 2-pin M57 plug, and then pin 1 and 2 go from the temperature sensor, the new 328 one, to the X20, and then that sends signal back to your clocks. As I said, I won't go through pins or anything like that. It is on James's video. I'll drop a link to it so you can go and check it all out yourselves. It's much more detailed in regards to the wiring and stuff. But yeah, I've got that in. I've got all my wiring loom now tidied up and into the ECU box. ECU and everything is in there. I've got a couple of lives. So this is a live. This is from the relays. So that's from the main M57 engine loom relays, the blue relays. I just shortened it down and put a different link on it. It'll go onto the top of the battery. I've got an earth from the main M57 loom, so that'll go there. And there's another, I've got another live, it's another 12 volts, that'll go to the top of the battery as well, and that is for the glow plug relay. I've only just put that on, didn't need it on in the first place, but I just stuck it on now, so I'll connect it up to 12 volts. But yeah, everything's fairly tidy. Down there then is my X20 clipped in its original place, fuel pump relay then wired in, and I've wired it to a 5-pin, put 5 pins in it. This one here then is the 5th pin. A power pin, and that goes down to the inline pump under the car, and there's also an earth with that as well. So an earth here, I just need to connect an eyelet up and attach that to earth. So yeah, so I just wanted to get all the wiring loom tidied up before I start doing anything else, because I need to move the fuel lines, and I also need to put in the coolant lines now, so I didn't want everything getting tangled up. So all the loom is routed to where it needs to go. That's all tidy. I can put my battery tray in now, and I'll hide anything under there. And as I said, everything else is in the ECU box, all the M57 relays, stuff like that. It's a lot easier, the wiring on this, than it is like on M54. There seems to be a lot less of it. I need to sort out as well. That's broke, so I do have another one of them. I'll just unbolt it. It's a 10mm bolt. Unbolt it from there. I'll stick another one in. That'll probably work anyway. There's enough on it to get a pipe on, but while I'm here I have another one. So yeah, so I need to take that off. Wiring wise, I don't know if I showed you as well, my accelerator pedal. I just run that along the back of the bulkhead and I put it in over that side. I know in James's video he goes through a hole in the ECU behind the dash. I normally put it over there, just personal preference, so that's where it is for me. Yeah, so I'll get the coolant pipes on now. Start actually, and I've got a load of new Jubilee clamps, so I need to do the fuel lines and then I'll do the coolant lines. In regards to the fuel filter, this one, this one there, that top one, I had to lengthen that because it wasn't long enough to be able to push all the wires into the ECU, so I had to add about 8 inches of wire onto that plug for the top of the fuel filter. Other than that, everything's done. Right, so this is the standard E36 pedal assembly. Now we don't need that anymore, so you need to remove this, because obviously going with an electric pedal, fly-by-wire pedal. To remove this, there's a little tab on the back, so when it's in the car you need to be able to access that tab, push it down, and then really you need to be able to get in at them bits to pull out as well, because they clip in on a bit of metal. But sometimes you can pull it up, plus if you're not using it again, just undo the tab at the back and then rip it out. Take this off as well. Little circlip holds that on there, just pull that off, pull it off, undo the cable, and then just get rid of the cable then, and I'll show you what to do with the E46 pedal. So this is what we need out with the E46, the fly-by-wire pedal and the bracket that holds the pedal. This pedal in the car will be slid onto this bracket. You put a screwdriver in here, push a tab up. This tab that would usually be on the bracket is broken, this one. We push the tab up and slide the pedal off, then undo the Allen key and pull the bracket up off the bracket on the bottom. Right, so just need to unbolt the accelerator pedal stopper. And this bracket then for the E46 pedal will bolt straight into that hole. I should just remove that stopper from the floor. Just use a 13-inch spanner, undo that one, and then you can just screw it out by hand. And then you can just bolt straight in the bracket. As I said, just use the same hole and bolt in the Allen key bolt. Pedal will slide on that now. Before you slide the pedal on, just make sure you plug it in first, because it's very hard to unplug it or plug it in while the pedal is on the bracket. And that's the pedal all in place, which makes it a bit easier now for moving it around and everything. At least I can drive it. Yeah, also I did mention I'd need a short shifter. I don't think I do. I've managed to just stick the standard M57 full linkage in, and seems to sit alright. Sits in the middle, sits a tiny bit far back, maybe an inch maybe, than where it would normally sit. But it selects all gears fine, so I'll be able to use this, save some money and not have to buy a short shifter. That's I don't know if you can see up there, but yeah, that's the E46 M57 gearbox, gear linkage and cradle. All fits in fine and works. As I say, sits slightly back from centre, maybe ½ inch, but it does select all gears, so it works. My gearbox is in pretty much the standard position, in the standard holes anyway, in the front too. I think this gearbox mount is 328 auto or 323 auto gearbox mount. I'll have to double check, maybe take it off and check the part number, but that's what I think it is. I tried the E46 mount, but that didn't fit, and I had a few manual standard E36 mounts and they didn't fit either. The holes between these, the mounts fitted from the E36 ones, the standard manual ones, but these mounts were in kind of closer together, so they wouldn't fit.
And then I found this one, which I think is an automatic E36 one, but I'll double check the part number just to confirm for you. Just saves you making a mount if this one works. Yeah. Right, so this is the intercooler I'm going to use. I got this from Darkside Developments. They sent it out to me. Ordered it I think on Tuesday. Ordered it Monday. Received it yesterday, so next day delivery, nice and fast. This is the 57mm outlet one, so these are 57mm to match the size of the pipework on the M57 184 brake horsepower. And I think the height of this is like 230mm, which is their biggest one on their site. But yeah, if you need one of these, I'll drop the link of where I got it directly from Darkside Development, so I'll put their link in the description. So if you need one, just click the link. They'll sort you out. They're one of the cheapest around as well for this size intercooler. I couldn't find anything cheaper on eBay anyway. So yeah, so if you need a universal intercooler, click the link and get one. As I said, this fits if you're doing an M57 conversion. This is the one you want to use, and you just have to make some mounts. So that's what I'm going to do next, is mount it to my bash bar and get it all mounted to where I want it. Right, so I've already got a bash bar on this, so it'll probably make it a little bit more easy for me to mount. So I'll be able to weld some brackets off this bash bar. I just need to work out where I want to sit this intercooler. Obviously want it in the centre of the car. Yeah, I think that looks pretty alright. Just need to level it out now. I'll measure it in a second as well to get exactly where I need it to be, and I'll get a level on it, and then I'll make some brackets. So I'll make some brackets for this from the top of the bash bar straight onto the top of the intercooler. There's already threads in, and the same on the bottom. So I mounted top 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yeah, so I'll get on with that now, get that mounted. I'm still waiting for my intercooler pipework to come, but it is a universal kit, so once I mount this, then I'll just be able to work out where the pipes need to go. But I'll get this mounted first. Right, so I've mounted this now. Just made 2 brackets for the top, just one on each side. So I'll level and put it as centre as possible. So I'll just make some brackets for the bottom now, same as the top. There's 2 mounting points on the bottom of it as well, so I'll put it up in the air. Do the same with the 2 bottom ones, get them welded, and I'll give them a coat of paint in as well, just to stop them from rusting. Yeah, I think my intercooler hoses have arrived as well now, so I'll make a bottom mount, and then I'll have a look at the intercooler pipework as well and see what I can do with that. Right, so that's the intercooler mounted where I wanted it. I've just given the tabs a quick coat of black paint, where there was a bit of bare metal just to stop them rusting, and weld the 2 tabs underneath as well, so it's mounted top and bottom. I will give this bash bar paint, probably paint it fully black once I get a chance. I'm going to have a look to see if I can mount up the intercooler pipes next and see where they go. Okay, I think this is my intercooler pipework. I ordered this yesterday off eBay, so I think it is. If it is, it's come just at the right time. It is my intercooler pipework. I'm pretty sure I ordered blue for them, but oh well. This is just a universal kit. There's loads of them on eBay. Comes with all the clamps, and comes with a couple of different shaped pipes. So I should be able to modify these to fit.
So yeah, have a look and see if we can get the engine connected to the intercooler. Okay, so it's just two U-bends, probably a 45 and 90, two of each, sorry, and then two straight, so two 90s, two 45s, two U-bends, loads of clamps, and then what's that, 8 silicone couplings. As I said, I'm pretty sure I ordered blue, so I've double checked the listing, but I did want blue ones to match the other coolant pipes I had. It's not too much of a problem, they're only small anyway, so yeah, let me have a look. This could probably be a bit of a pain to get right. I'm not sure which way these are going to route. I'm going to have a look now, see what we can do. Have a look at it, maybe the intake side first. Probably not, I'll actually do have a look at the exhaust side, the turbo side first, mainly because I haven't got an expansion tank as of yet. So I want to make sure the expansion tank is in the right place before I start putting anything else there. I have to watch out for the headlights as well on where they go. I think I hope I have enough room to get past them. Right, potentially I can make the exhaust side out with just these two. I just have to cut this one down and cut this one down, and that should work, I hope. I'll get a bead roller if need be, and I'm going to shorten this one. I need to cut this one, I think, around here. Show you. So this one I'm going to have coming off the intercooler. Something like this, so if I cut it to match up and then have it there, the 45 should go from there to the turbo then. Have a quick look, I'll stick the headlight in as well just to make sure I've got room. I don't want to be not have room, I should have room anyway to go. Yeah, I should have plenty of room behind the headlight there, but I'll double check, I'll stick the headlight in just to make sure, just to see if I definitely have room before I start cutting these bits. I don't want to waste any of them. Right, so I've done the exhaust side, that was fairly easy, fairly straightforward anyway. I just used the two pipes, I used the 90-degree one and just cut it short around one end. This end is still the same, so just basically cut quite a bit off it here just to fit it in straight up then. And then just use the 45. I had to cut a bit off each end of the 45 just so it would go in the right place. I'll sort out these clamps and put them in a tidier position once I sort it all out. But that's done, and the light fits in as well, so it's not in the way of anything. Might be in the way of the water bottle, maybe. Bracket is there, so might still go in. I think it might still go in and have a look, but I'm not too worried about that anyway. The driver's side now. I'm not sure if I can do this one yet because I've got to put a rad in and an expansion tank, and I've got to run the top coolant hose. So I'm not quite sure on that one yet. I might leave that one until I need to order an expansion tank. Should have ordered one already, but probably leave that one for now. I get on with tidying up all the wiring. I do need to get a fuel cooler as well. I have a bridge at the moment because mine was had a pinhole in it, so I need to get that sorted. So I need to get a new one of them, or maybe weld a hole, get somebody to TIG weld it. It's only a tiny pinhole. I'll have a look. So just before I move on, I'll just show you the pipe work on the intake side. I've currently got the inlet manifold off because I'm about to do the coolant lines and sort out the rest of the wiring and the fuel lines and so on. But yeah, the intake pipes from the intercooler, I've done the same on this side with the 90-degree one. So just basically cut the 90-degree one shorter on one side and then brought it up. I've had to cut the other end off it as well. And then it's onto a coupler, onto the 45, and then onto a straight piece then into the standard 90 that comes off the standard 330 onto the EGR delete then, and it all fits. I'm pretty sure the lights in that fit. I'm not sure if the little motor on the back of the lights might foul the pipe, but I'll have a look at that in a minute. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'll move on to the next bit, which is going to sort out the wiring, just tidy it all up so it's in its right place, and get the coolant lines sorted as well. So yeah, going to do that now. Right, so all the fuel lines now, I've routed them and tidied them up to where I need them. The fuel filter is mounted. I don't need to get a new fuel filter, but that one there is mounted where it needs to be. Nice and tidy and out of the way. Just use the bracket on the side of the strut tower that used to hold the carbon canister. There's already a nut in it, so just bolted that on. I got a new cooler. My one had a pinhole in it, so I went to the scrapyard this morning and picked that one up. So that's probably going to be good there. I just need to know where my expansion tank goes and what expansion tank I use. But at the moment I haven't bolted that anywhere, I just have it sitting there for now. Yeah, so start moving on to the coolant lines. So this hard plastic line just goes down to the thermostat at the front and bolts on just in this normal orientation, and it basically just goes straight up to the heater matrix. And then the one from this kind of Y piece from the smaller side of that to the heater matrix also, and then from the plastic pipe down to the oil cooler or oil heat exchanger, whatever they want to call it. But yeah, so that's how the hose is route so far. The one that comes from here, that goes to the TDS rad. I need to extend that slightly, so I just need to get a joiner, cut the pipe and extend it a slight bit to join on. And the same with the one, same with this one, the one down there coming off the thermostat from in there as well. You can see it, I don't know if you can see, but up there and yeah, down to the bottom of the rad. I need to make that one next, so I'll have a look at these two first. I'm not sure if I have any joiners here, but it's looking a lot tidier. The battery tray and everything is in. Wiring room looks nice and tidy in there. As I said, most of the coolant hoses are where they're meant to be. It's just two more that I need to do now, and obviously the one that then goes to the expansion tank, which comes off that one just down there, and that'll come to the expansion tank. I need to get a belt. I did have a brand new belt somewhere when I was looking for it. I found a box, well, the wrapper. I can't find the actual belt itself, so I'll have to look for that, find a belt, get a belt on it, get the coolant hoses in, and get the inlet manifold back on, and start fixing everything up then. I do have to take off all these intercooler pipes anyway. I've just mocked them up like this for now. The reason being is I need to put a bead on the end of them so they don't blow off. I've got a bead rotor coming tomorrow, so I'll do that tomorrow. Yes, this side of the engine is pretty much finished. I do need an air filter. I need to get a pipe across one or a K&N filter to go in the original box. Yeah, so looking decent. Starting to come together. Starting to get a bit more tidy. Yeah, I've got paint and stuff. The paint in here, paint the top of the strut towers, just to make the engine bay look a bit tidier. And as I said, I'll give the bash bar and that a coat of paint as well. So yeah, so I just need to get a joiner now and I can put the rest of the coolant pipes in, and yeah, a fan belt, auxiliary belt, and that'll be pretty much it then. Right, might get away with that, not sure. James's video, he needs to extend it slightly. It is a little bit tight, but it does work. Doesn't look like it's in the way of anything. Can get a Jubilee clip on it as well, goes all the way on. Maybe James's engine is in a slightly different position, maybe. Yeah, I'll maybe do that. I'll have a look at the other side now and see what I can do. So I got fed up of looking at how stinking it was, and all the rusty spots and the primer everywhere, so I'd give it a good clean and just mashed up the engine and that, and give the strut towers and the arches and stuff, the inner arches, and give the bash bar a quick coat of matte black as well. I think it looks better than it did in white, it looks a lot cleaner. But as you can see, the whole job now, just a little bit of paint and a good clean, and everything comes up nice, so it's looking much more tidy. Right, so I got this cheap off eBay, 30 quid, and it's meant to be a bead roller, so I'm going to see how good this works. Doesn't come with any instructions or anything like that, but probably self-explanatory. Stick the pipe in and turn it around. So it says it does 1mm steel and up to 3mm alley, and my pipes are probably 1.5, 2mm max. So give it a go, let's see if it works. So this one that's a normal one from the actual standard pipe. Obviously I've had to cut the pipes, so I've lost some of the bevels on the end, so I'm not sure how tight you need to go. Six is working. Yeah, definitely worked. Want to make sure the pipe is definitely straight though, because you have to keep it right against the metal, and if you haven't cut the pipe exactly straight, that was an off cut, it wasn't exactly straight, you'll feel it turning in your hand. If you don't hold it in your hand, it wants to push away, so you have to hold it in your hand, but try to keep it as straight as possible at the same time, as level as possible. But yeah, it's done enough, so I have about 5 or 6 pipes now to do this too. 1 or 2 of them are already done on one side, but all the rest have to be done. Some have to be done both sides, so I need to get them all back off the car, and I'll start doing that now. Stuff like this one with the bend in it might be a bit of a pain. No, it might be alright. I don't want to mess these up now, because I haven't got any more bends of this shape. Yeah, that worked pretty decent. I just went round it a couple of times. It's got a nice bevel on the end. Yeah, so do a few more of these and get them back on. Right, so the bead roller works. Pretty easy, pretty decent. I just had to raise it out with a vice though to do the ones with the 90 bend, so it doesn't hit the bench. So I'll probably modify this so it's a lot higher out with a vice, just so I don't need to be clamping it in pieces of metal, because that was a bit of a pain. But for stuff like this, it's very straightforward, because there's plenty of room. Make sure your end pieces are cut straight. If they're not, you might bend the pipe slightly because it doesn't sit level. But these all work fine, so. Right, so I'm just getting these all back together. I'm not sure if I showed you what I used on this side, but basically the same as the opposite side for the first pipe. Used a 90°. Then this one I think I had to cut it on each end and then bevel it. That one is next, so that one is in on top of that one. And then this piece of straight one then to extend it down underneath the coolant hose to join onto that like 30° one. And this goes onto the EGR delete. That's just the standard pipe from the M57 manifold. Right, so she's back on the ramp. I'm not sure what I filmed last. It was probably a week or 2 ago before I filmed anything, since I filmed anything last on this. I've made quite a bit of progress. It is driving now, however it's still on the standard diff. So I do need a diesel diff for it, which I'm waiting on. I'm currently about to start making the exhaust, so I'll probably show you a bit of that as I go along. So this is a DPF delete. I bought this for a 330 diesel, so this is off eBay for a 330 diesel E36, and then it had this bit basically cut, and it was facing in, as you can see where the black is blown from it. It was facing right into the body of the car. So to start, I just cut that off. I've ordered some stainless pipe tube and some bends, so I've got some stainless tube in there and a couple of bends. And then I got a V-band. I got a well-done V-band and just a reducer just to come from that DPF to a 63mm exhaust end the whole way through. So, and I get this welded onto that DPF delete, and then I'll start making the exhaust then. So yeah, so I've just welded the reducer onto the V-band. I need to weld this onto the DPF delete now. I am using just a MIG welder, and I'm not even using stainless wire on this. It is my own car, should be alright. plenty of penetration, probably just rust after a while, but yeah, so I'll weld this onto the DPF now, onto the DPF delete. So I'm just tacking this into place at the moment, as I welded the V-band on, but I just tacked it to the DPF delete. So I'm just coming along, I've used 290s then, tack them in place as well, just in case I need to move them. Oh, what's happening with the camera? Yeah, so that's brought me to the middle of the car now. I need to come under the subframe about here as well, so I'll have to squash the pipe down a little bit. They're standard, they're squashed down anyway. So I'll squash it down to bring it under the subframe, and then up here then, and straight out the back to a downturn, so. Right, so that's as far as I got for this evening. It's 6:30 now, so I'm going to head off home, finish the rest tomorrow. I've just tacked the bar onto it there, just to hold it in place. I might not hang it there, or I'll put a bush there if I do need to hang it. I won't solid mount it like that. That's just to hold it in place while I'm making it. I did squash down the subframe, the exhaust here just a little bit, just to give me more clearance. I can probably go up slightly. I wasn't sure how much of a gap I'd have here, but that, if you can see, that gap won't change any. That shaft that's where the straight part of the shaft is. If anything, the shaft will go up, but yeah, so it shouldn't matter. I just need to run pipe straight from there out the back in the centre of that big massive slot. I do have an M3 or an M Sport bumper to go on the back, so I'll probably stick that on instead. It's just black, but it doesn't have this big piece cut out. Yeah, so far decent enough. All I've used is, as I said, a reducer onto a V-band and onto a straight piece, 290s to make an S, and then back down then, and I've just kind of angled them a little bit as I've gone along, just to get it to come over here rather than down straight in the middle of the car. I'll get the rest done in the morning. As I said, I'm still waiting on a diff. I need a diesel diff. I have ordered one, so I'm waiting for that to come through. And I've got no brakes at the moment because one of these rusty brake lines burst. So yeah, I do have a drift day in May as well, so I might change all of these lines and plumb in hydro as well. So yeah, so that's it for the exhaust for now, and I'll come back in the morning and finish it all off. Right, so that's the exhaust done. The 90, as I said, I haven't decided on that yet. I've just tacked it on for now, but everything else is on. I've just hung it to the subframe on a rubber gearbox mount, just screwed in, and then I've used just the standard mount that was there, and I just bent a piece of bar, welded to the standard mount. It's got plenty of movement in it. I've squashed the exhaust along here just to fit under the subframe, and so it doesn't bang off it. And up here then, I've used 290s into an S, and another straight piece onto a V-band, and then onto the DPF delete that I bought. I think I paid 100 quid for this. I wouldn't bother. I just make it. It's basically two 45s, 45 here, 45 at the top, and a straight piece in between, and then you could cut the flange off your old cat and use that then, or DPF, whatever you're using. But yeah, happy enough. It's as high as I could get it all the way along. Shouldn't scrape on the floor, I don't think. I can twist it a bit to bring this bit up higher, but it brings this bit down a little bit lower. But yeah, I'll see what it's like. The car isn't too low anyway, so it might be alright. And if it starts scraping, I'll sort it out. I've only twisted it there now. I've just taken twisted on this clamp, so I've only twisted it a little bit just to put it into that position. Originally when I made it, I had this up quite a bit higher. I had this piece more level. I'll try it like this, and if I need to twist it back, I will.
Yeah, happy enough with how it is. It's nice and light as well, so instead of like making it out of mild steel or using the original exhaust is very heavy. This one I can pick up with one hand easy, so it's worth it for that. Yeah, so let me drop it down off the ramp and I'll get it started so you can hear what it sounds like. Right, so that's it, in, done and running. Starts on the key, drives, stops, everything works. Yeah, so everything's in with the M57D30. Looks quite tidy in there as well. So in regards to parts, just what you can see, intercooler. You could probably get away with using the standard intercooler and just modifying that pipework. Or it depends where you mount it, you might even be able to use the standard pipework as well. It didn't look too far off when I was looking, but obviously this is a bit of an upgrade. It'll give you a bit of extra power, especially if you're getting it mapped and so on. That dark side developments one, I'll put a link to their website to where I got it from. I think this is like the 120 quid one. Intercooler pipework, that was just off eBay, Universal. You would have seen in the video what I've done with that. But once again, I think about £100 for a full kit, and the full kit would probably do 2 of these if you needed. So I'll put a link from which one I used. Power steering wise, as I said, all of that worked fine as it should. I even kept the cooler. However, I've had to join it because it fell down on the floor the other day because I didn't have it tied up anywhere, and it rubbed through. So I wrecked that, so I just had to stick a piece of line on there for now. I do have another one. I will swap it out and I'll mount it properly. But yeah, otherwise power steering is just the standard lines. The full standard 330 lines work. They're on that as of now. Expansion tank, expansion bottle. I just used the Vauxhall one because there was one here. My next door neighbour Rob, he gave me one for it. So that was free, but really 325 or a 318 TDS rad, or even an E39 530 diesel rad. All of them are the same, and they look a bit nicer and a bit more factory. So I might change to one of them in the future, but this works at the moment. Fuel cooler, diesel cooler. I just have that cable tied to the expansion tank at the moment. I will mount that somewhere else, well, in that area, but I'll make a mount for it once I fit the lights and everything. EGR delete, eBay, I don't know, about 20 quid. I bought that a couple of years ago, so I just had it in the drawer. But yeah, about 20 quid for an EGR delete. What else? I stuck a new fuel filter on it as well because the old one was been on there for years, and I had to put a new like pre-supply pressure sensor on the fuel regulator because I had on the fuel filter because I had a code for that. So I put that on. That's cleared that code. Yeah, so it looks nice and tidy in there. Anything else up top? Vacuum line. So a few meters of vacuum line. I think 3 or 4 meters I purchased on eBay, and I have about 2 meters left over. So probably about 2 meters of vacuum line, 3mm internal diameter. While you have the engine out, you may as well renew all of that at the same time. New water pump thermostat, also do that while it's out, it's much easier. Coolant lines, this coolant line, the standard one that goes under the inlet manifold to like the plastic connector. Obviously change the plastic connector because they're prone to break, so while you have the engine out, the inlet manifold off, change that. But this pipe then, the top rad hose, I didn't do anything to it. I have seen other people modify it by just cutting it and joining it to extend it, but I've just fitted it as it is. It feels it's got plenty of wiggle room there and everything, so plenty of movement. And then this one from the top of the rad, just a small overflow pipe, a return pipe back to the expansion tank. 325 TDS rad, and then the other side then, coolant line on that side is just the standard coolant line chopped in half, and the joiner put in the middle, and then the plastic connector end taken off this side, so it's just Jubilee clipped onto the rad that side, and then like plastic connected on the other side like the E36 style. Yeah, so that's it up top. I'll just show you what I've done underneath. Right, so this will be everything underneath. Just a quick recap on that. So power steering lines, as I said, 330 diesel lines straight off the E46. They work as factory.
and they look factory as well. They even bolt onto the steering rack where they should. Engine mounts. So the engine mounts, 330 diesel, E36 engine mounts. You could use poly if you wanted, but it just vibrate the car. I had a 530 diesel in the other day on poly ones and the whole car was vibrating, so probably not recommended. I think I paid 80 quid for these. These were the cheapest ones I could find. But yeah, so these ones, the way I have them, as you can see the line here, I've just drawn that line so it's in line with the nipple, the vacuum nipple that I ground off. And that nipple then is facing towards the back of the car, so I'm facing with that line. I know James Young, he does them the opposite way, but this works for me, so the engine seems to be sitting in a decent position. So I've done that both on each one. Slave cylinder then, I have used standard E36 cylinder, and then I've used a rod out of the E46. So pull the rod out of the E46 slave cylinder and just pushed it into the E36 one. That works. Gearbox, obviously it's a 5-speed gearbox, and I'm pretty sure this is a E36 gearbox mount, but it's an automatic gearbox mount. I'll have to check the part number and I'll put it in the description, but I'm pretty sure that's what I've used here. Standard E36 gearbox rubbers. Obviously then E46 propped on it. Gear linkage then, I've got a standard gear linkage working. I've seen some people say you need a chassis mounted one. Realistically a chassis mounted one would be best, but I've got the E46 shifter arm and cradle, and then I've put an E36, let's see if you can see the purple bit on the bottom, an E36 short shifter in there. I've just had to grind the bottom of the cradle down a little bit so I could put the circle clip on, but that works. You can select all gears, it doesn't hit anything, and it feels nice and tight as well. So exhaust wise, as I said, I wouldn't buy a DPF delete pipe again, or a cat delete pipe, whatever it is. I would just make one. I've made the rest of the exhaust. It would have just been as easy just to make this and a hell of a lot cheaper. It's just two 45s and a straight piece, and then a flexi. You could put the flexi in a different piece of the exhaust if you wanted, but if you wanted to copy that, it's just two 45s, a flexi and a small straight piece, and then I could have used the flange off the old cat. Exhaust, fairly happy with how that turned out. That's the first stainless exhaust I've done. Normally we just make up exhausts as we go along. But yeah, so I've just MIG welded it, so the welds will probably rust after a while. But it works and it sounds nice. Prop shaft, I'm yet to road test this. I have driven it around the industrial estate and it feels okay so far. Checking on the road to see if it feels unbalanced or not, but that is in welded. If I don't need to get a balancer, I need to get it remade. At least I've got what length it is. I can just give it to the prop place and tell them to make one for me. This was a bit of a pain to get, a diff. So this is a 318 TDS diff, 2.65 ratio. So a long ratio for the diesel. I did have the 3.38 petrol diff on it, and it was very short. Third gear, drifting it around the estate was actually pretty decent. Felt good. Put this one on then, and I wasn't too sure on it. The car feels fast, but drifting wise, I'm not 100%. Really, I need to give it some proper testing. Driving around the estate, you can't really test it properly. There's too many cars, and obviously it's quite busy. So once I get to a drift day, I'll be able to test that properly then. Yeah, so that's pretty much it underneath. I don't think you need to do anything else. No. Right, so that's it. M57 D30 engine swap is complete. The E36 is up and running. It's booked in for MOT next week, and then I have a drift day 2 weeks after that. So I've got a few more bits and pieces that need to be done for the drift day, and then also a few bits and pieces I need to do to get it through its MOT next week. But in regards to engine wise and the conversion wise, that is all done and complete. So anything I've used in the project, I'll stick in the description, just so you can pick them up if you're doing it yourself. As I said as well, wiring side of things, and if you want a bit more of a detailed guide, go over and see James Young's YouTube channel. I will drop his YouTube channel in the description, and I'll put a link to his 184 brake horsepower video up here somewhere if I can. But yeah, so once again, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. It all helps the channel grow, and we will see you next time.